Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is one of my first new videos I'm recording with over 200,000 subscribers, so I just wanted to say a special thank you to each and every one of you out there who's subscribed to my channel. It means the world to me. If you're new here or if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, be sure to click on the little red subscribe button down below. There's also a bell icon next to it, and if you click that, you will always be alerted whenever new videos go live on my channel. So join my Fink fam, I'm so excited to have you here. Since today's video is all health and habit related, thank you so much to CVS Health for sponsoring it. CVS is the store that I grew up going to for every single one of my daily needs and essentials, and so I'm just so excited to watch them now expand into these new health and wellness offerings. They have an awesome new line called Live Better with over 100 wellness products. There's everything from vitamins to sun care, digestive supplements, bamboo toothbrushes, and so much more. All of the packaging is at least 80% recyclable, which is really important to me. I've personally been putting the organic marine greens blend into my morning smoothies, which has kelp, chlorella, and spirulina in it, and I've been tracking my green smoothies every day with my bullet journal. And I'm putting a link down below to where you can check out all the new products, see their ingredients, see how they were sourced, and learn about how they're supporting and respecting the world's ecosystems. When it comes to my personal health over the past few months, I've been reflecting on some slight changes that I can make here and there to improve my overall physical and mental health. I've had a couple of random repeat migraines recently throughout the past month, and I also had some weird sleeping issues at the start of the month where I kind of went through about 3 days in a row where I just was not able to sleep. So I spoke to my doctor about some of these issues, and she started asking me questions like, what foods did you eat on those days, or what was your energy level like, or how long were you staring at your computer screen that day, so much more. And I realized that I just couldn't remember any of these details in my day clearly enough to give her any concrete answers. So that's when the idea of tracking these health markers popped into my head, and I knew it would be useful. If you followed me for a little while now, you'll know that I've been into bullet journals for years. I've used them as agendas or planners, but more and more recently, I've been using them primarily for the tracking element. I love building habit trackers. I love using that as a way to make sure I'm staying on top of personal goals. So today I'm gonna walk you through how I built my recent habit tracker. First things first, I grab my bullet journal, my brush pen, 2 colored markers, a ruler, a pencil, and my skinny black pen. As soon as I open the journal here, you'll see that there are some pencil marks here and there, and that's just because I typically like to create the basic structure of the tracker first with a pencil so that I know what I'm doing before I just take my pen to the paper. I started out by writing habits at the top of the page and then giving it a drop shadow effect. I like outlining this type of text with a skinny black pen because even if it's not perfect, or even if I go outside of the lines a bit, it does make it pop more. So I wrote the first letter of the days of the week across the top of the page, and then directly underneath that, I wrote days 1 to 30. Next, I drew a vertical line about halfway down the page and a horizontal line to create a little grid. So this right here is my habit tracker, and I'm gonna fill it in a little bit later. Then I moved on down to my screen time tracker, and I wrote in the day numbers again here. I made sure they were in line with the same day numbers from above, but I skipped writing in the weekday letters again, just because they didn't need to be repetitive. I created another grid here and then added in the hours 1 to 8. I will say I rarely have a day where I'm staring at my screen for 8 hours, but I just wanted to be covered in case I have a full computer day anytime in the month. And then I started on my key so that I could differentiate between screen time spent on my laptop versus on my cell phone. So I used blue for hours spent in front of my phone and yellow for hours spent in front of my computer. As you can see, for this month, I chose to go with a more minimal bullet journal spread layout. If you have ever searched bullet journal spreads on Pinterest, you likely know how intricate and artistic and colorful some of these spreads can be, but just for the purposes of what I'm tracking here, I wanted to keep the spread simple and nice and easy on the eyes. So then I went back up to the top and filled in the habits that I wanted to track. And the truth is, not all of these are habits per se. Some of them are just things I want to keep track of. So I wrote in exercise, yoga, yes or no to having had a headache, drinking alcohol, reading, stretching, and spending time outdoors. This is really helpful for me because if I have a headache on any given day, I can then cross-reference with some other things from that day or from the day before. For example, I can check how long I was staring at my screens, I can check if I had any alcohol, and so much more. So this is really a useful tracker. On the next page, I decided to build out an entire sleep tracker. So I wrote out the days of the week, and then the dates again, just because I was on a new page. And then I wrote out the hours in the night starting from 8 p.m. and ending at 11 a.m. And I'm likely not going to bed anywhere before 8 p.m. or anywhere near 8 p.m. And honestly, 11 a.m. is really late for me, and it would be rare for me to sleep until that time, but I figured this was a good, nice time window to put in there just in case. I built that grid again here with the ruler, and then I added in a column at the bottom for the total hours of sleep in the night, as well as a yes and no line just to see if I had any sleeping episodes that night. And what I mean by this is, you might know this about me from some previous videos, but I am prone to having some bizarre incidents in the middle of the night where I wake up and I say things to Michael, and sometimes I've even been known to walk around the room a little bit or leave the room entirely. So I never really know why this happens to me, but I do feel sometimes like it's tied to maybe what I had for dinner that night, something that I watched right before bed, maybe even what time I went to sleep. So this tracker is useful so that I can see if there is a correlation between the number of hours I slept and how I'm feeling energy-wise, and if I had one of those episodes. So speaking of energy, I think I'm always kind of wondering why some days I feel more energetic than others, so that's why I built the next tracker. I turned this one into a double tracker here so that I could track my energy levels in a given day and also how my skin is doing. You might have seen some of my recent YouTube videos about my skincare routine, and I've been talking a lot on my Instagram and YouTube about how my skin has been giving me a little bit of trouble over the past few months. So I love being able to look at a tangible tracker like this and to be able to see my skin's progress. Also, it's great to be able to potentially tie my skin issues to something I ate previously in the week, or maybe how much sleep I'm getting. So I wrote the day numbers again on the top, and then I created a rating system from 1 to 5 on the left. So 1 being low energy, or my skin is not looking great, and 5 being incredibly high energy and clear skin. So I created the key off to the left, showing that the blue marker indicates my energy levels and the yellow marker indicates my skin. Now onto the next page. I am typically not one to track my food, although I have made various videos in the past where I'm trying different food trends or I'm eating different diets, but personally I don't ever track my food. I don't keep tabs on what I'm eating at all. But my doctor did seem to feel like this would be useful information to be able to look at various foods, because some foods are considered to be things like migraine triggers and more. So on this next page, I created a simple food log. I wrote meals at the top, and then I just wrote out each day of the week, leaving space to track my breakfast, which is B, lunch, dinner, snacks, and medication. And I just wrote out all of these words with their first letters just to save space. I then recreated this exact setup for all of the weeks in the month, and I was grateful for how simple this spread was because I did need to recreate it on 4 separate pages. Whenever I'm working in my bullet journal with certain markers, I get these stray black pen marks that bleed out. Sometimes my hand trails the black across the page, and I do sometimes just leave them and ignore them, but I wanted this one to look really pretty, so I took my jumbo white correction pen and I just touched up all of those black spots with white. So all of that footage that you just saw was from the month before I actually filled out the tracker, but now I can give you a closer look at what this tracker looks like filled out. It's important for me to show you that I change my mind a lot throughout the month and I wind up adapting on the fly. So for example, you'll see that in the habit tracker section on the top, I was originally going to write Y and N, or yes and no, for things like having a headache or drinking alcohol, but I decided instead to just keep the X in there for yes and to leave it blank for a no. I wanted to keep it consistent with the other items, so I just changed my mind as I was filling it out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this bullet journaling video. I've been getting a lot of requests for this type of content, so I hope this is the type of video you've been looking for. If you decide to build a similar tracker for yourself, please tag me on Instagram at Lucie Fink so I can see it. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel, and please let me know down below in the comments section what other types of bullet journaling or art videos you want to see from me on this channel, and I will happily make them for you. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I can't wait to see what you think. Bye!